Good morning, everyone. Let's get back to work on the Ford Flivver. Okay, little heads up from the last video. What we're going to be working on today is getting this installed in the tail of the aircraft. Now, what we have to do first before we get to that point, because we're going to have the rudder mounted so we know how everything's going to pan out, where I'm going to have to come in, draw the cross hole that's going to come on in through, and then how it's going to have to attach to the bottom of the fuselage. So where we need to begin first is back here on the tail. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to take you off the stand and show you how we are going to go ahead and put the hinges in. Now for hinges, we will be using Robart hinges. I'll get them. And there we go. It's the smaller, they just call them steel hinge points. I don't even know what size it is, but I do know it works with, I think it's a 30, 31 or 32 wire size drill bit. And I've used these things many times in the past, and they're great hinges to use. And because you can have the little teeny Robart hinge, whatever you want to call it, the locator, where it's going to get located. And the way this is going to work, I'm just doing something out of view just to show you. See, this is where it's going to go through. So you're going to have a line, and I'll bring it back as I'm getting ready to do it. I'll have little markers on the leading edge and the trailing edge, depending on which part you're looking at. And then it does have this little teeny piece on the floor that does just get screwed into position. And then so when you clamp everything together and you've got your little hole, your little line, I normally put a little dot in just so that way you see where it's at. And once you've got that in a position, you hold it tight between your fingers. Then you're going to come in, and I'll probably have this, if it'll fit in the Dremel, it'll be in the Dremel. If it doesn't fit in the Dremel, it'll probably be in this drill. So I can just very slowly just go through it so it pokes all the way through and not into your fingers. So it'll come all the way through. And then, because I'm drawing cross lines from the movable surface to the fixed surface, they should be in perfect alignment with each other. So let me go ahead, get some little lines drawn back there on the tail, and then I'll take you off the stand and show you how everything's going to line up before I disassemble and start drilling holes. I do have the marks made for both edges. Now what I decided to do was, because you want at least one hinge right here in solid wood, so that way you're not passing through. What you do is you come in, and on both sides I measured 10 millimeters in, just because it gives me a good piece of wood, but I don't know which side my elevator is going to be, the actual control horn is going to go into. I want to make sure it gives me enough room so when everything gets attached, I'm not impeding on the area where the connector is going to go. So I came out from this point. I went out to not to the tip, but to where I wanted a hinge to work. I figured that was going to be close enough just to make me happy. And that was 160 millimeters out, so 80 millimeters was right there, and it looks like another good hinge point. So I went ahead, made the initial little marks, and then I came in with a piece of plywood, and it says, yes, use 90 degrees. I can use this to line up on the framework itself, and then I know I'm going to get a straight line across from one side to the other. So now that I've got the lines drawn, now I'm going to take this off and make marks down the front and the rear. Let's just say the rear of the horizontal stabilizer and the front of the elevator. So that way I can go ahead and get ready to start drilling some holes. I've already done one hole. I'm going to do a second hole just to show you how I'm doing it, because I am using the Dremel. So I'm going to go ahead and line this up. Let me screw this down tighter, it was moving. I'm going to line up this little teeny cross line. through the center here. And yes, you can see it, even with pencil. So I just need to come on down and get it lined up where it should be. And you can't see it, but I can see it. Let's go ahead and get that one drilled through. See if I can get set up so you can see it a little better. And there it is. Pretty much right down the middle. So let me go ahead, get all the rest of them drilled, and then let's go ahead and we're going to have to get the vertical stabilizer in the rear part of the fuselage sanded into position so everything is even, because that's something I have not done yet. So let me go ahead, get this drilled through. I'll get the H-stab drilled through, and then I'll bring it back in and show you what I'm going to have to do with the rudder and the rear of the fuselage. Okay, hopefully this will not go out of focus because I've been battling with it. I'm trying not to get my hand in the wave, so I'm going to do it with a little pointy thing. You can see the size difference with the holes. All right, so this is what gets drilled through, and this is what I expand it up to. And what I do it with is this, it's a file. It's pretty much just a triangular file I've had for years and years. And the reason why I have to go ahead and make the change, is because of the way that the end of this hinge, let me bring it back so you're focused. Because of the issue I was having with the way the camera was set up before, figure we're going to do it this way. You can see the hinge where I've drilled through for the hinge itself. The problem you're going to have with the hinges, and even with the bigger hinges, the same thing, is that when you put the hinge in, the way the hinge body flares out, and hopefully you can see that nice enough. That's as far as you can get that hinge in, and as you can see, it's about a 1/4 inch farther out than where I want it. So what I'll do is I'll come in, and I've got a little triangular file, something I've got from probably Amazon, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago. Had it for a very long time. And this ends up being about the perfect size, how it expands out, and I'll show you what I got to do. I'm going to come on in and just start spinning, because all I'm trying to do is just have it set up so it's tapered going in. And once you get to that certain point, and it does not take that long, typically it's somewhere in about a minute per hole, just to get it the way you want it. And this should be good, because that's some soft balsa there. I want to be able to slide it in so it's just like that. So almost half of that hinge is in. So that's going to leave you a little teeny gap of about a 1/16 of an inch between the surfaces themselves. So let me go ahead, get these all taken care of, go into the trailing edge of the horizontal stabilizer, get those taken care of. I'll bring it back, show you with all of this put into position, and then we'll go ahead and we'll tear it all out, and then let's get to work on the vertical stabilizer and the rudder. Okay, the initial fit is looking pretty good. It will get a little bit tighter in here, but right now, like I said, this is just the initial fit. So I'll be making little teeny tweaks as things go along to have it fit the way I want it to. Plus, when I lift it up and let it go, I want it to drop. So right now, everything's just a little bit bound. So regardless, right now, I'm pretty okay with that. That's not too bad. Now, let's go ahead and let's hang the rudder. All right, as you may be able to see, I put a little bit of thin CA. I'm going to wick some more thin CA on the outside and on the inside. So that way, when everything is set and ready to go, because these will be epoxied into place, and I'll be using 5-minute epoxy. Just because the amount of working time I'm going to need to get all 6 hinges properly lined up and slid in. And we'll be doing the same exact thing on the vertical stabilizer and the rudder. Now, this is what I need to show you. You don't see too much from this side, but you can see, hopefully, a little right on the tailing edge of the fuselage, how much needs to be kind of tweaked and removed. So I'm going to kind of come in on this side and I'll I'll just kind of sketch it with a pen, just trace a line down, just so I know about what we've got to start working with. And as we get closer and closer to that line, we will be making multiple measurements to make sure it's just the way we want it. As you all can see, it's hinged. So everything is moving nicely. The final fitment will not happen until it's all covered. Right now, the little bit of play back and forth is going to be fine. The very first thing for you guys that have watched me actually cover in fabric, nitrate dope, the whole plane will be nitrate dope, so that way it's going to go ahead and not add really any weight at all, but it's going to stiffen up the wood. And then I'm going to be able to go ahead, come on in and readdress everything where there's a little bit of tightness. I can make this work. It's just that right now, this is all still in the pre-stages of you know, I'm just getting ready to cover it. So, on that happy note, the bottom part that we have to put in, and this is going to be interestingly strange. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I've never done something like this before, but this is the angle that this is going to have to sit at to go up, and it's going to have to be bedded inside here. So the inside of this is going to be cupped. So this can come up and then go in. Now the one thing, because this is where it's going to be, I've already got it marked out. It's just going to be a matter of me coming in and just sanding this down. So that is not that big of a deal. It'll probably take me a couple minutes. The question is up here where this is going to go in. If you see how little bit of an L that is, so when it comes up here, this part here is probably, I don't know, 5/8 of an inches long, maybe, yeah, probably about 5/8. If we come on over to the plans and we take a look at it, it's not 5/8 of an inch. It should be pretty darn near close to 1.25 inches. So still not 100% what I want to do with that, because it's going to be permanently fixed, glued into position. I do have options, and I don't know how well I want to go with the options, because this, it would probably work just fine. It's a little shorter than I'd like, but it is what it is. I was thinking about coming in with some brass. I could sleeve it, or I can epoxy, so if I went a little bit bigger on the hole going into the back, I can have it so it's going to go inside some brass. So this hole will be a little bit bigger, but when it gets epoxied into position, it's going to slide into this piece of brass tubing that will already be epoxied into position. So right now, because we're just getting this thing ready, we're not finalizing anything with it until the time comes with the covering and everything. So right now, this is still an option that I can just go ahead and epoxy this part into a piece of brass. So that way we can come in a little bit deeper up in here. And of course it would make me happier, but now, you know, it's brass. It's not gonna be that much weight, but do I wanna go ahead and assume I'm gonna need this? Not 100% sure. I may just, once I get the hole drilled and get everything put together, but not permanently put together, I may just go ahead and put some thin CA on the inside, and just kind of, so I'm really just stiffening up all the wood all the way in there. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, let me go ahead, let me get this stuff all cut out, we'll get it screwed into position, and we'll see what it looks like. Different color shirt, different day. The problems I'm having today, and this is the reason why I don't have my normal gear on for working in the shop, because I'm actually getting ready to go out for a nice little walk to get out of the shop. The problem we're still having, because you saw how much I got done on the tail, I'm trying to put the ailerons on just as well, because you figured the aileron should be a piece of cake compared to the other ones. Now, as per usual, yeah, this kit was not, it's not the greatest kit in the world. So the issue was internal in my head. If I was going to go with the same hinges I've got on the tail, it's got to come in at different angles for the wing, because it's a top hinge. This plane in the plans, I think, was a bottom hinge, and I decided to go top hinge. Now, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to come down at an angle excuse me, this way, and angle this way, and then onto the wing and angle the opposite way. So you're kind of meeting in like a 45-degree angle, or pretty darn near close to it. Now, this was the little jig that I made years ago, and I've used this several times. You can see I've used it for the large hinges. There we go, the large hinges and the small ones. Yeah, now it's designed to come in at a 33-degree angle. That's just how we're coming in. This is how this is set up and how it needs to be drilled into the wood. Now, if you wanted to look from this side, it's going to come in like this, and it's going to get drilled down at an angle. There we go, drilled down at an angle this way. So it's going to come through pretty much right about where that, let's just call it the point of the angle is. So it's going to come in this way. And it's going to do the same on the plane. Now, the judgment call I'm having on this one is how they made you build the wing. Now, I'm going to take you off the stand and show you, and to me, it is just insane on how they design the plans. Not the plane, the plans. Because there's two little things that make no sense. I think I've covered them in other videos. But the problem is it's still a problem. So I'm going to have to go ahead and do some work with some stringers or rib caps, just so I can fix the problem the way that I think the problem should be. And then we're going to jump away from those style hinges just to the regular, you know, glue-in ones, where it's kind of like a Mylar plastic and then whatever the fabric is on top. And that'll work just fine, so I'm not concerned about that. But let me take you off the stand, show you where I'm at and what I'm gonna have to do, and it'll all of course be done off camera, just to go ahead and get those things mounted. Okay, rehashing the problem again. We are sheeted up on the top, no rib caps needed because the sheeting becomes like a rib cap, so we're good all the way up to here. This rib and this rib, these two need to be capped. These are capped. This one here is said not supposed to be capped. And we're getting goofy here. The ones in the middle are supposed to be capped, and it butts up to this piece. And it's even at the proper angle. So this is the way the plans tell you to do it. This rib over here, not capped. I capped it because you need the capping just so that way when you go ahead and meet up the leading edge and the trailing edge, everything is the way it's supposed to be. So what I'm going to have to do is come on in. We'll go ahead, we'll run a stringer across here like a little rib cap here on this end to raise it up to where it needs to be. And then we're going to jump in on the top, and what we're probably going to do, I'll probably terminate somewhere. I got to figure out how I want to do this, or just blend it in. We're going to be coming up for, it's going to be a full butt on the bottom, or trailing towards the trailing edge, and then it's going to go up and it's going to blend in at the cap. So it's going to blend in right here. So that's going to be the most trickiest part. Because if I wanted to, I can possibly come in. I'll figure out how to do this when I'm not in here. So I'm going to just think about how I want to rib. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the trailing edge cap. And it'll be done on both sides, so that way when I come on in and these things go into position, they'll be lined up properly, because otherwise this part here on the aileron, it was going to be a drop. To be set up properly, it was going to be like that. So it's in that I'm not happy with. So let me go ahead, get this taken care of, and then I'll bring you guys back and let's get this hinged and call all of the hinge work done. As you can see, it's nice outside. How about that? Okay, we are back, and I went ahead, and you'll be able to hopefully see it from the side. You can see a little bit of a gap hopefully right there. So I went ahead, put some caps on top of caps, and right here I did a very sharp little blend in. This will probably have to be filled with a little bit of, even if it's just regular drywall mud, we'll make something work there. So I've got these three done, taken care of, everything's level, even put the back piece in, so now this is level all the way across just the way it should be. Went ahead, got this side done as well. So this is put in place. Now it's going to be time to go ahead and let's get the little hinges put into position. A little tighter than I'd like to see, but we're going to work with it. I like a little bit more of a gap than a 1/16 of an inch on each side, so it's kind of tight for my taste, but we'll see what we can do with it. Okay, I'm going to do a change on how I wanted to make the ailerons hook up because of what I'm doing and going with this style of hinge. These were meant to be a top hinge, and so in order to get around that being a top hinge, and I don't know how well you're going to see this, but I'm going to give it a shot. This used to come to a point. As you can see, I beveled it off, and I'm hoping you can see that. And then right at that bevel line is, if you can see, I've got no idea, there's a pencil line. And then what I did on the wing, let me get you off the stand. On the wing, I decided to match that pretty much spacing down. So this is going to be the hinge line. So we got the hinge line on the wing, and then we've got the hinge line on the aileron, and they do match up. So that way the pivot won't be coming from the top, it'll be coming from there, and we should be able to get enough up flare before it stops to get good aileron. So let me go ahead, get these slits cut, and then I'll bring you guys back just hopefully so you can see something good, because that's what I'm hoping for. Hey, a blast from my past. Haven't used the slot machine in years, but it still works great. What I've got set up is exactly what I was hoping I was going to get. So I don't know how well you're going to be able to see. The flow lines across from the aileron to the wing are very good. That's about what I want. The same height on the slant down, so it's not a drop. It's just the same slope. And for up, we've got that much up, and before it stops, we've got that much down. So I'm okay, happy with this. So I haven't done that side, but it's going to come out exactly like this side. So after that little bit of mess with the wing, and the mess was taken care of, everything is hinged. I'm really happy with the ailerons because they lined up perfect. So, and that makes me a lot happier than I was when I was thinking about the best way to do it. Now, the other little elephant in the room is going to be this. Yeah, I don't know how well you can see it. It's just, I don't know. I'm going to have to try to figure out what to do with that. Do I want to keep that or not? It is reinforced epoxy down inside. There is no flex on it. I just haven't decided if I just want to stick with what's there, or I do have some, I don't know, it's probably 80 thousandths aluminum plate. Do I want to go ahead and make a new attachment point through this and then just put a collar down here just so I keep this at the same height? I just thinking about it. So I want you guys to go ahead. I'm not gonna do anything with this until the hopefully near future. But as of right now, this is gonna stay. But I want your opinion on whether you think I should just leave this and just kind of fill in around it, or just go ahead and just make myself a new triangular plate that's going to attach to the bottom. This will weigh a little bit more than this, but we'll go from there. So let's just go ahead. We're going to call this a video. Don't forget to subscribe and to like, and then I'll see you guys next time. I'm back in the shop.